December 25th, 2020, Playboi Carti has finally released Whole Lotta Ray. After 2 years of waiting and Mario Judah baiting him for a few weeks, he finally has released the album. Because of my time zone, I usually don't end up listening to new albums until the day after they get released. Because, you know, every single rapper releases their album at midnight Eastern Standard Time. I don't live on Eastern Standard Time, but I usually don't end up listening to the album until the next day. When I woke up this morning, I did not know what to expect. First thing I did before even listening to the album, before I actually went to go give the album a listen, I started scrolling social media and noticed a thing or two. For the most part, there was an overwhelming amount of people that just did not like this album as a whole. Oftentimes when an album first gets released, a lot of people listen to 1, 2, maybe 3 songs in the album, go on social media and immediately call it mid. You know what I'm talking about. 5-10 minutes after an album gets released, you can hop on Twitter and you will see everybody commenting this album was mid, right? It's like a trend almost to call the album mid right away. And honestly, I was kind of surprised people calling it mid, considering he's had 2 years to work on and everybody working on building up the album. There was so much hype around this album that I honestly expected it to be something just spectacular. Now, I haven't listened to a ton of Playboi Carti in the past, other than pretty much just his really big songs, and in comparison to his big songs, his album was not it. One of the biggest criticisms I have seen about this album is people saying, wait, he just says the exact same thing over and over and over again. And the thing is that with Playboi Carti, that's kind of his style. To make that futuristic-esque type of sound, that's him just saying the same thing over and over again while he kind of mumbles a little bit. However, I do think that Playboi Carti could have done a lot better with this album. Now, I am saying this after multiple listens. Anytime I make an opinion about an album, I make sure to give it at least a few listens before I actually go and say anything, because I genuinely believe that one listen of an album is not enough to make an informed opinion. And I say this as somebody who generally hates albums the first listen. There have been so many albums where it takes me 2 to 3 listens to really start to feel the music and really get into it. One could say that you might need to let the album marinate a little bit. Give it a couple days, give it a couple listens, and it'll kind of warm up on you. Now, even though it has only been 1 day, I have listened to this album multiple times, and well, the album never warmed up to me. I tried giving it a chance, I gave it multiple listens, but it's just not something I could really get behind. With that said though, there was one song in the album I actually really enjoyed. That song being Benno. I may be saying that wrong, but Benno. That song is fun to listen to. It's a little bit different than the rest of the album, and honestly, kind of feel like it was the best track on the album. Now, a couple songs on this album that I do think some other people did like were Slayer, Vamp Anthem, and Sky. Out of everything I saw on social media, people talking about this album, those 3 songs specifically seem to have the most people kind of backing them. I feel like a lot of us kind of expected this album to kind of have the same effect as a song like Magnolia, and because Playboi Carti has had a few songs that have done just insanely well, we've kind of all held Playboi Carti to this higher standard where we almost expect everything he produces to be at that same level. And I think that he could have done that if he would have maybe, you know, put a little bit more work into the album. And here's the thing, he had plenty of time to put this album together. But on the other hand, it could just be that Playboi Carti is really bad with time management. The biggest reason why I say that is because of this. Playboi Carti had a kid with Iggy Azalea. Because of COVID restrictions, they were only allowed to have one other person in the room while she was giving birth. And that one person she chose was Playboi Carti. Guess who didn't show up to his own kid's birth? Playboi Carti. Wanted to talk a little bit about the features on the album. First feature that shows up is the one featuring Kanye West. And really, it's a Kanye West song featuring Playboi Carti. Kanye West dominates almost the entire song, taking over the vast majority of the playtime, which is something that I've never understood for albums. If an artist is featured, why are they taking up the majority of the song? That's just always been something that doesn't quite sit right with me for some reason. Now, if it was some sort of like collaborative album, that makes a lot more sense, obviously. But in cases like this, for Kanye West to take the majority of a single song, it's a little bit weird. The second feature on here is with Kid Cudi. Now, this one is not one I really expected, considering Kid Cudi very recently released an album. I wasn't the biggest fan of that album. I recognize that Kid Cudi has a ton of talent. I recognize the album was still very good. A lot of people liked it. The album had a lot of popularity. I'm just not the biggest Kid Cudi fan. And now he pops up in the song Metamorphosis. Pretty much the entire song is just Metamorphosis. And ultimately, I just don't feel like there's any real substance to the song. Now, I know that a lot of Playboi Carti fans do love this album, and there are a lot of diehard Playboi Carti fans that really hate the album. I'm sure you saw at least one video, something along the lines of like Playboi Carti fans forcing themselves to listen to the album. But you know, this is definitely one of those albums where there's gonna be people that like it just because they're such diehard Playboi Carti fans. But for the most part, I feel like a lot of Playboi Carti fans and people who don't really listen to Playboi Carti a ton aren't necessarily going to like this album. The album is very Playboi Carti-esque. success, in the style and the way he kind of built it, but overall, even for Playboi Carti, I don't think it is a good album. Like I said, based upon his other songs that he's made, he could have done a lot better. I've heard amazing songs by Playboi Carti, and just in comparison to those songs, this really did not live up. And the last feature that was on this album was featuring Future, and honestly, not really rocking with that one either. Now before you go and try and take anything I just said seriously, this is an opinion. I'm just some random guy on the internet. You're allowed to form your own opinions on the album. I'm just here to share my view on it. But with that said, hope you guys did enjoy this video. Let me know what you thought about the album down below. I'm really curious to hear what your favorite songs on there are. If you like any of the songs, if you think the album is an amazing album, let me know what you think down below. Now, if you are a rapper and you're looking to take your music to the next level, DM me the word Empire on Instagram, and I will take a listen to any of your songs that you send me, give you some honest feedback, and a few of you in the next month that send me your music, I will take under my wing, and I will help you grow your music as much as humanly possible over the next few months. Now, it is the end of December, but between now and the end of January, I am looking to take on 2 to 3 more rappers to kind of take under my wing, so there's a very good chance that could end up being you. So if that's something you're interested in, once again, DM me the word Empire on Instagram, and I will help you build your own music empire. Make sure to also subscribe so you don't miss out on any other future videos that I post, and because you did stay till the end of this video, chances are you like the rest of the videos that I post. So you should click on these playlists popping up on screen and go and binge some of my content. And even though this is getting posted after Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's anyway. With all that said, have a great rest of your day, guys. Peace.